Hello and welcome to more Stardew Valley. Last time we defeated the first gym leader, Brock. And today we'll be moving forward to hopefully conquer the entirety of Mount Moon. First task is to get the running shoes. And in between the previous episode and this episode, I actually made some changes to the ROM. First, let's read this letter. Dear Flame, here's a pair of running shoes for my beloved challenger. You forgot them when you left. You've been barefoot this whole time? From Mom. Yes, I get the running shoes now, but I'd like to showcase one of the first changes that I made to the ROM, namely, the ability to run indoors. I've made a few other changes which we'll see going forward, but I have re-released the ROM. You can find it on the PokeCommunity page, but I've also uploaded tactics where it's pending approval. The most updated version includes the ability to run indoors, but also a fix to the grass animation and some text changes as well. These trainers are mostly unchanged, so it should be fairly uneventful getting through here. Squirtle is on the verge of evolving, that much hasn't changed. And I'm looking forward to seeing the evolution. I've never actually play-tested the Squirtle line in a run before, so this is pretty exciting for me. But also, our first team member, or our first new team member for the episode is coming up. Mount Moon is home to some good new encounters that I'm looking forward to showing you all. Like, for example, Paris, who has been changed into Bug Ghost type. It's not actually a type combination that's very common. Shedinja has it, but Ninja's a bit of a gimmick Pokemon. We got poison, so I'll head back to the Pokemon Center and come back here. Alright. The next few trainers should also be fairly unchanged, but I will fight them for the experience. We get to see Ekans, who has been changed to a Dragon type. Arbok, by default, is a very underwhelming Pokemon. No regional form, no Mega, no signature move, nothing particularly impressive about it to make it stand out from the rest, but the Dragon typing should hopefully make it more usable if you want to play this game for yourself. But here we get to see Squirtle finally evolving. Here you'll see that the weather aspect of its design really comes into play. Base Squirtle is mostly unchanged, but Wartortle is a completely different beast, as you're about to see. The clouds take up a much larger fraction of its aesthetic, and it is raining, so I've changed it to a water type, flying water type. It is 4 times weak to electric, but thankfully there aren't that many electric type Pokemon around these parts. That being said, we still don't have a water type move for Stab, so I can't even remember when Wartortle learns another move. But hopefully we get one before Mount Moon to make it easier to take on the rock types. I always like grabbing the hidden berries, even though I will most likely never use them. I haven't changed the difficulty that much. Thankfully we avoid a poison there. Yeah, Clefairy is a bit underwhelming at this point in the game. Encore doesn't have all that much use. Mega Drain is not very good against all these bug types. And Pound is, well, Pound. Did I fight this trainer? No, I did not. We get to see Nidoran female, who has been changed into a white pawn. The entire Nido family has been changed to have the whole chess aesthetic going on, which I think I did pretty well. We see Magic Code appearing, which is pretty cool because you never see Magic Code appearing in the base games, and I would be surprised if you see a regular trainer using Magic Code in vanilla FireRed. Not even sure which Pokemon get access to it. I don't think I can get any new encounters here. None of them are weather Pokemon, but I would at least like to showcase some of the available Pokemon here. We can get the usual Pidgey. We can get the usual Pidgey. And of course the Jigglypuff that we saw earlier. I am very happy with the way I drew its hat. Spearow is not a Pokemon that I think I encountered before. If there was a trainer that used it earlier, it has been changed to Flying Poison. This design is a bit of a recolor. Not too special, but Hero at the very least does have a bit more substance behind it. First thing I do is always grab this berry, even though Person is even less useful than Orin. And then heal. It's this guy who sells you the Magikarp, and that is still true. He will sell you a Magikarp, but Magikarp is not a weathered Pokemon in this game, but I'll buy it anyway, just to show you guys the design. Magikarp, same price as always. And I will not forget to nickname it. I will name it Scourge after the Desert Scourge from the Calamity mod. No one can criticize me for having cringe nicknames if no one watches the video, which means I can name my Pokemon anything I want. Sandvale, I guess, technically does make Magikarp a weather Pokemon, so I will keep it on my team. And it will complement nicely the next Pokemon that we can get inside of Mount Moon, who I should hopefully encounter soon. Not Paris. Let's see, what would be the best to catch it? Probably Clefairy since it has Sing. Maybe this trainer will showcase something new. No. That's okay. I mean, it's fairly common around here. I don't expect to have to grind a lot to get it. Aromatherapy is probably not a move I'll use very often, but I don't see use case for Encore. It's not like we're gonna, lock anyone into a setup move. Clefairy is not the Whimsicott of this game, unfortunately. Might as well send out Magikarp just for aura farming purposes. Here we get a random item. Come on, okay, Poliwag, that's not a weather Pokemon, but I did change it to be a Psychic type in this game, so we have some options for that. We have Jigglypuff and Poliwag close together, so you do have a lot of diversity to choose from. Zubat is a Ghost type in this game, but it's not a weather Pokemon. That's not what I'm looking for. This Pokemon is being a bit stubborn to appear. Okay, we got Encore to Sing, but that's fine. I will just take the free switch. Zubat is a bloodsucker. Let's try to fish for a few more encounters around here. Zubat, no, that's the typical Mount Moon experience, that much remains unchanged. Oh well, I'm sure I'll encounter it before long. Magnemite, I'm also very happy with this guy's design. Oh, it's got speed boost, so it will outspeed my team very quickly, but it's also boosting its defense, so I don't have much to answer for that. As you can see, Spike Cannon has been changed to a Steel-type move, because early game Steel-types do not have many stab options in Gen 3. The only Steel-type moves we've got are Iron Tail, Steel Wing, Meteor Mash, so early game options really just Metal Claw. Very unfortunate that Gen 3 isn't like that. But here we see the Electric-type Venonat. I'm fairly happy with this design. I was themed around the idea of safety, so it's got safety gloves, safety goggles, it's like an electrician kind of thing. Unfortunately, Charge has not been buffed in this game. It's supposed to raise special defense in later generations, but even then it's still not a move worth using. It's a rare candy. That much is unchanged from the base game. The items are mostly unchanged. And these trainers are all still fairly easy to herb stomp as long as you have a decent stab option. I don't want one Pokemon to get too overleveled. I think the level cap for Misty is around 21-ish. But I'm not strictly adhering to level caps in this playthrough. Right, we get an escape rope just in case I need to emergency heal. And yeah, this encounter is being really elusive. I think the fact that there are only Paras on this floor remains unchanged from the base game, so maybe I'll find it here in the lower floors. Here we see the meme design of Diglett. Oh, it is a dark type if I remember correctly. No, dark ground. And since Team Rocket runs like to use dark types, you'll be seeing a lot of imposter Diglett. Yeah, there aren't too many meme Pokemon in this ROM hack. I just wanted to... Oh, okay, there we go. Here we see the encounter that I was saying before. It's Bellsprout, but it doesn't have Sandstream. Let me check really quickly in the documentation what Bellsprout's ability is supposed to be, and I will get back to you. Alright, I'm back, and as it turns out, Bellsprout does not have Sandstream, it has Sandveil. So I should be good to catch it, and then it'll evolve to get Sandstream eventually. So it's not a weather Pokemon as of right now. I should probably use Sing to put it to sleep. It has Sharpen to boost its offenses, but that's not going to be too much of a threat. Hopefully I have enough Pokeballs to catch it. Oh, I didn't buy any Pokeballs at all in this game. Thankfully I do luck out and manage to catch it in one ball. Alright, I will not forget to nickname it. Let's see, let's think of something. I will very originally name you after the objectively best Minecraft mod of all time. Snad. Anyway, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a fake fan. I have not memorized what the natures do in all my years of playing these games. but it does have Rock Throw, Solid Stab. We get our star piece. I'm going to make my way back to the Pokemon Center, heal up, and then I will get back to you right here. Alright, and we're back. I also, while I was at it, did a tiny bit of grinding on Snap and managed to get Sand Tomb on it. A nice addition. Although Rock Throw remains at 90% accuracy in this game, Rock Slide, I believe, has been buffed to 100 accuracy. I still can't fathom for the life of me why exactly Game Freak decided to give Rock types inaccurate stab, but I guess Rock is just built different. Here we see yet another new encounter, Grimer, the grass type. I'm very happy with the way this design turned out, and I think Muck, when we encounter it later, is even better, so I'm very excited to show that off. Grass types in general are pretty fun to draw if you ever make your own heck for yourself. Yes. Bellsprout is rock ground, so that's pretty much why it serves as a replacement for Geodude in this cave. Of course, this will prove a nice experience, but here we see yet another new Pokemon, Voltorb. I tried to increase the diversity of Pokemon that you see in the early game. It can be pretty tedious fighting the same rocket grunts with the same Rattata and Zubat over and over again. And of course, I am biased. I would like to showcase my designs. Ekans remains, I mean, a pretty standard addition in the Team Rocket Grunts arsenal, but at least it is a dragon, so it is slightly more interesting to fight. You can't just steamroll it with ground or psyche type. I don't remember making ethers purchasable in Pokemarts, so you still have to manage your resources, but it's not that difficult. Like I said, this is not a difficulty hack. I did rebalance the gym leaders' teams. They should be slightly harder, but ultimately their types are the same. You know what you're getting into. It's not going to be that bad. Although, okay, here we see what's added. That's new, I think. I did mention that I didn't really focus on balance that much when I made this game. And that much is true, but in my first and only playtest run, I got stonewalled by the Elite Four. Like, I managed to make it to Agatha, and her team was just so ridiculous. I cooked way too hard on it, and I just got annihilated. I had to make some nerfs, but I won't say who I nerfed until it comes time to face off against that particular Pokemon. I wouldn't want to spoil anything. Here we see Spikes make its way into our moveset. I probably will not use it. There aren't really any 6 versus 6 battles coming up, and the trainer AI still does not like to switch. So Spikes will probably not be very useful. But I think it's pretty interesting to give you Spikes as an option, just in case you want to Nuzlocke this game or something like that. Here we see Scyther, who I think serves as like an early game mini-boss, because the stats are going to be so high at this time of the game, and as you probably immediately recognize, Scyther's design is very much based off of Cleavor. Same typing, Rock Bug. It doesn't get Stone Axe, but that means that it's unfortunately ZU trash. Snap is actually really carrying. It is not having any difficulty taking on these trainers at all. Hopefully I can get through this cave without having to run back and heal, but if I do, I will probably cut it out again. Yeah, now that I think about it, if I had the chance to redo this hack, or if I had the intent of making a re-release, I would probably change up some of the maps a little bit. Maybe just make it so that it's not the same path that you've taken 100 times, but here we see Machop, it was new. I think I did actually give it, I mean it is an ice type, but I think I did actually give it an ice stab option, and my team, I'm realizing it, is entirely weak to ice. The only thing I have that's not weak to ice is a neutral flying water. That's kind of bad. I probably should rebalance my team, but I don't have options. Okay, Nimbus is getting a bit... Okay, here we get Water Pulse, that's nice, but it is getting a bit over leveled compared to the rest of my team. Yeah, one of the pieces of feedback that I received is that the whole Pokemon with clones drawn on them is not to everyone's taste, namely with Charmander, but also Machop that we saw earlier. Personally, I understand why you might feel that way, why some people think that, but it's not like it's an unprecedented design element. Pokemon has had that since Gen 1, and I personally find it fun to draw, so that's why they're there. Here we see yet another kind of early game mini-boss with Beedrill. I don't think you can get a fire type this early in the game. And this thing might hit fairly hard, but thankfully we do have a good answer in Water Pulse. Yeah, Spike Cannon, that's not going to do much, it's resist. And Skill Link is not in this game, so there's nothing you can do. And then it's just not very threatening. Yes. Snad I think will probably be a more permanent addition to the team. But it's not going to be very useful against the next gym leader. Yeah, Sentune's not very accurate. I think I prefer Mud Shot. There's a hidden item here, right? Ooh, that would be embarrassing if I got it wrong. Ah, yeah. Okay, never mind. Oh yeah, the hidden item is in that rock to my right. Yeah, okay. Whew. Alright, this trainer I think should be slightly stronger than standard trainer, but I could be wrong on that. I need a Dracovish for my Ubers team. Oof, when I wrote that text, Pokemon Champions obviously hadn't come out yet, but Dracovish was slightly nerfed. It got its vicious random base power decreased by 5, despite not having been in any of the games since Gen 8. I think Snad is unfortunately going to go down here. Ooh, no, okay, never mind. Snad survives at 3 HP. Here we see Coughing. My best answer to that is Nimbus. As you can see, it is Poison and Psychic. So Bite is super effective, but... Oh, okay, that actually does get the one shot. Coughing is usually fairly bulky, but I think it is more physically bulky than specially bulky. And Voltorb we've already seen, so I'm going to let Clefairy take care of that. Alright, that I believe is the final trainer in this cave. So now we get a choice of fossil. We can choose Helix or Dome. Let's see. I'm not sure, I can't honestly remember if Omastar is a weather Pokemon, but I know for a fact that Kabutops is not. And I like Omastar better anyway. Not that it'll matter since it'll be a while before we can actually revive the fossil, but I'm going with Helix. We get our antidote, that's pretty standard. Is there anything that's wrong? No. And that's it. We are out of Mount Moon officially. With that, I think, wait. There's a hidden item somewhere. I know it. Ah, Great Ball. Okay. And with that, I will end the episode here. This one might be a shorter one, but that's okay. No one's watching these anyway. These episodes are going to remain about as unseen as Urshifu's fists, so no one can tell me that my voice acting is cringe. Alright, that's gonna be all. Thank you and goodbye.